Hey Wendy,
Hi, Donna.
how you doing today?
I'm good.
I am very excited that I have Wendy today. It's going to be a process that we're all going to walk through together. I'm using Wendy for her reactions, her responses, and her ability to see through the experience for what it is and how it can help all of us. That's what she and I have been since we met again in this lifetime a few weeks ago. And I'm doing this to share on my YouTube, but I'm also going to be posting it many places. So if you have any comments, you can shoot me an email. Wendy has her own little platform on Instagram. Wendy, do you have a YouTube channel?
I do. I'm gonna start adding more stuff to it, but I do. It's light always wins.
Light always wins, and that's who she is also on Instagram. And if you're on Instagram, you can go to either of our profiles and see a talk that we did last week, and you can watch and view and listen to Wendy on her own podcast called Light Always Wins, which is available on all platforms, as well as my podcast, Linking to the Afterlife. If you'd like to be a guest on my show, my podcast, it is a free reading of your loved ones in the afterlife or a past life reading. And that's what we are going to talk about today is a past life meditation that I did recently. This meditation I've been doing for a couple of years on my own. I don't remember who I got it from, but I also teach it in a certain form, this past life meditation. Whenever I feel I need something in my life, whenever I feel I'm challenged by something and I can't get through it, I will go into my own meditation and I will view the scene in my own head and allow it to play itself out. That's what I love about past lives. I started with past lives back a very long time ago, and I still continue. Even though nothing stops me anymore, we still keep moving. I love the idea of helping someone, a client, a person, a friend, with a past life so that they can catch up with themselves, catch up with the emotion or the reasoning behind why they are here in the moment and with a certain struggle. But it might not even be a struggle, it just might be an emotion that you didn't realize you had until you went into this past life. Wendy, does that all make sense to you?
100%.
Good. So, no questions yet. All right, good. All right. So, I'm going to first tell you about the actual meditation that I do. It is a meditation where you put yourself on a street, and in front of you is one of those old timey movie theaters with a huge marquee all lit up in lights. Can you see it in your head?
hmm
Old timey. And the first thing you do is notice yourself on the street. You look up at the marquee, and there is something typically written in the marquee. And then I ask the person to step into the lobby. And in the lobby, you could smell the popcorn. But every time I went into the lobby, there was nobody there but me. It was only me. All the times I've done this meditation, only been me. And then I ask everybody to look to their right. There's a ticket booth. And in that ticket booth, there's your spirit guide. So you get to connect with a spirit guide. And when you connect with the spirit guide, you walk over to them and they hand you a ticket. That ticket on one side is your name in this life, and on the other side is the name of the person you might see in
Oh.
past life. If that happens, right? These are just ways to guide.
hmm
So now I have another spirit guide who's standing at the door to the theater. They open the door, you walk in. Let me say that every time I've walked in, usually I've been the only one in the theater. One time there was a bunch of dead people, like killed dead people, and that took me back to a lifetime where I was like the Al Capone of my days. So those people were all dead in their seats. That was pleasant. Another time it was just me and one spirit guide sitting next to each other. But there's never been people crowded, live people, never. It's always been just me. And then we sit in the center. We have you sit in the center. The curtains big and red, the old thick red curtains.
Mhm.
Lights go down, curtains open, and you immediately begin to see a movie of your past life. And I ask you to look at the people that are on the screen, the colors, the season, what they're wearing. Notice everything about them. Is it one scene? Is it moving through? So you do that, you sit with that for a while, and then you leave. Curtain closes, the end. You walk back up. You say thank you to your spirit guide at the ticket booth. You walk back out to the street and you look up at the marquee and you see if anything's changed. The end. Again, I'm going to say I've probably done this at least 10 to 20 times. There has never been anyone with me when I've walked into that theater. Never anyone but me. My spirit guides. That's it. To be honest with you, I don't remember what caused me to go into this past life again. But Wendy and I have been talking about some pretty deep things. And I've been feeling this feeling that I've had for so long that, okay, here I am doing all this, but where's my win? I want to have, that's what I keep saying to myself. There must be something bigger. It can't be just this vibrational thing that I'm putting out there. It must be something bigger because I'm not that big. So I was feeling that, and I don't know, Wendy must have said something that caused me to like have a response and say, yeah, let me figure this out. Let me go see what this past life thing is. So the other morning I wake up and instead of just listening to music and breathing, put my music on and I put myself on the street. I'm alone on the street. And I look up at the marquee and it says there is always someone with you. I'm like, okay, that makes sense, right? Of course I know that. There's always spirit with me. I open the door to the theater and it is filled with people, filled. And they're all applauding and cheering. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And they part to allow me to get through. And it took me a second to realize, you're probably already recognizing what I'm going to say. It took me a second to realize they were applauding me. They're applauding, they're cheering, and they're yelling for me. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I immediately recognized that I am going to the premiere of the movie that I wrote. I am I have produced, written, and starred in this movie. And these people have already maybe seen it or have felt it or got it, but they're all cheering. They're cheering and yelling. Now I remember what we must have been talking about. We've been talking about how the movie's been playing out, right? That's what
Yeah.
we were talking about before this. Okay. So I'm in the lobby. I can't even see the ticket booth. Remember with my spirit guide? So my spirit guide, I think it was Dr. Verlicki, one of my spirit guides, he's jumping up and he's like waving because you can't see me above the crowd. So he's just waving to me and like saying, go in the theater. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many people. Are they all going to go into the theater with me? Well, I open the door to the theater. There's no room in the theater. There are so many people. Wait, I paused. Okay, now back. There are so many people in the theater. Everybody's on their feet. Everybody's cheering and they're looking at me. They're applauding me. Did I lose you, Wendy? Let's wait if she comes back. I think I lost Wendy for a moment. Here we are, part two, Wendy. Wendy, my internet went out, which I find always so very interesting when we're talking with spirit or working with spirit that something like that happens. So, Wendy, where did I shut off before? Do you remember what I said last to you? So I want to make sure.
Yes. You said you were looking for your guide in the ticket booth, and he was jumping up behind the crowd, like, over here, over here.
Okay. So they wanted me to enter the theater. So now all of these people, I'm thinking, okay, they're going to walk into the theater with me. And then when I walk into the theater is packed with people already. They're all standing up, they're all cheering, they're all applauding me, me. And again, I'm beginning to understand that I'm the writer, I'm the producer of this movie we're about to see. And they were excited for me. They were like supportive. And that word always just bugged me because there's nobody supporting me, like in my life, what I've been going through for 20 years. Where's the support? But all of these people, remember the title of the movie, there's always somebody with you. So they're all
Mhm.
applauding and applauding. And I'm like, where am I going to sit? Because all these people were filled, even the aisles were filled with people. And then all of a sudden, an empty row appeared right in the center. And I was able to walk down, sit right in the center. And as soon as I sat down, the row filled up again with people. It was like just appeared, all these people. And then I find myself staring at the red curtain, right? The red curtain is closed. And I found myself in my meditation, right, thinking Donna thoughts. I don't want it to open. I don't want to see the life I created. I didn't want to see it. As good as these people applauding me were making me feel, I was feeling their love. I didn't want to see what I did. I didn't want to see how I created this life and what I was going to learn here. Because remember what I heard many other past lives, dead people, there was always something really to struggle with and learn. Okay,
Yeah.
so eventually the curtains got to open, right? I can't just sit here. So give me your thoughts so far, Wendy. Don't go forward, just what you were feeling when I explained it.
Um, I well, one thing I have to say is it's hilarious that you said you didn't want to see your movie and that the internet cut out kind of when we got to that
That's right.
part. But I'm excited to see this movie. I feel like I want to say what the title is, but I don't want to say too much.
Yeah, yeah. Because everything at that point, I'm used to the way the movie plays out, right? I'm used to the way
Yeah.
the whole meditation plays out, and nothing's going as planned yet. Nothing has
Yeah.
happened the way it normally happens. So I know there's something going to happen.
Yeah.
So the curtain opens, and the curtain opens to a crowd of people on the stage, not on the screen, a crowd of people on the stage doing the same thing, applauding and cheering for me. I'm
Wow.
hearing that they are guides, they are souls from my life here in this present lifetime, Donna lifetime. And
Yeah.
that's who's on the stage with me, the souls of those. They're different from the people in the theater and in the lobby. Okay, I'm just breathing. I'm just breathing in my body, sitting in my meditation. Eventually, the crowd on the stage starts to part. I've seen this happen so many times in meditation, starts to part. And I see myself, my only version of when I was a child, because I don't remember a lot of my childhood, but I see that little Donna walk from that crowd. And I'm all smiles, but I feel so alone, that little girl. And I know many people are resonating with this right now. But all these guides and all these souls are around me, and they start hugging me. They start holding me. They're all smiling at me, but most importantly, they're protecting me. That's what I felt, protection.
Wow.
So the other people that were in my actual life during that child moments were not there. These guides, these souls were protecting me. Great. I accepted that.
Yeah.
The movie starts to move on. It's not really a movie, right? It's the stage. And now I see myself around 9 years old. Again, only a picture that I remember of myself about 9 years old. I was very thin. I was anorexic. I stopped eating because I wanted the attention of my family. And I got
Mm.
so thin, but nobody was noticing except my sister, who told my mother, Donna's not eating her lunch. And no one was noticing I was getting that thin. And when I saw a picture of me, my legs were like twigs. I don't know how no one noticed. So I said to my sister, well, what happened? And she said, all I remember is mom going to the doctor or to the hospital with you. And that's all I remembered. So that moment of me in that age, I was so alone, screaming for attention and not getting it. And these
Mhm.
souls again appear on the stage, hugging me, loving me, surrounding me, but most importantly, protecting me.
Mm.
And I felt I could say goodbye or hello to that 9-year-old little girl.
Yeah.
Breathing, breathing, still moving. And I know it's coming now, right? I know even more things, more ages are coming now. I got to go through the whole thing. Now I see myself as 14 years old, high school. And in high school, I had a teacher that made me feel special, but was inappropriately special.
Mm.
And at that time was also a time when I tried taking my own life. I didn't want to be there. If no one would listen to me, then I didn't want to be there. And he was the one who
Mhm.
noticed, again, inappropriately noticed. And that in
Mhm.
itself started a trend in my life where unavailable men would show up to save me.
Mhm.
Started a trend. That was my first experience with an older, unavailable man. Again, totally inappropriate, not good, bad, right, or wrong, just was the way it was. I was being groomed for that.
Yeah.
So he was the one that noticed. I don't know if they told my parents. I don't know anything about that, but that wasn't the point. Here we have now myself at that age standing there with all of these souls holding me, accepting me, supporting me, smiling at me, kissing me, making me feel I did nothing wrong. But it was time to move on now from this part. This was something I recognized only a few weeks ago when I watched a documentary on women that were groomed by their teachers in high school to make it seem
Mm.
like it was safe and secretive. And I recognized that I was viewing myself as a woman and not a child whenever I looked back on that time in my life. And I had to say to myself, holy crap, I was a child. Why do I keep thinking you did something you should have told you were an adult? I wasn't an adult. So now I'm moving
Yeah.
on from that's another story, but now I'm moving on from the 14, 15-year-old. Now I get to when I'm 18, 17 or 18. And at that time, there were a few unavailable men that were a part of that existence again. Some of them offered me something in return for something that I would give them. Like, I'll give you this letter to get you into this college. You give me this. And I thought
Oh,
nothing of it because they were paying attention. So the pain
yeah.
that I felt during that time now, I was alone. I was always left. I was left alone with them and I was alone without them. I felt I wasn't worthy to accept anymore. Where was the love? Again,
Mhm.
my souls on the stage come to me, hold me. And again, as Donna in my room doing this meditation, I'm viewing it. I'm viewing Donna in the theater, viewing it, and I'm viewing all of that. My souls were there surrounding me, protecting me, loving me. And I felt I could move on now. Any comments yet, Wendy?
Nope. I'm just taking it all in.
Amazing what this could do, right?
Yes.
Now,
Well, I will say I see the trend here, I see the trend of uh it was it's like a form of self-abandonment, right? That you had to come to terms with, that you had to be there for yourself. And now you're seeing this movie where they're all coming around and loving you, and that's you. That's you now.
Yeah, because I wasn't that 2 weeks prior. That
Wow.
self-abandonment, I never even noticed until you just said it. But you're right, that's what I had been doing all these years. I was abandoning myself at those ages as Donna the adult. All these
Yeah.
years telling that story and in therapy for, I just recognized something even bigger. And now that I was able to recognize that, these souls could show up to tell me we were always there.
Mm.
Couldn't you couldn't feel us because you had abandoned not just yourself, but everything around you that was in the world of spirit.
Mhm.
Now remember, I saw spirit as a child,
Yeah.
then shoved it down because my mother said, just ignore it and it'll go away. And it did go away. So they've always been there. I just went away from it. I moved away.
Yeah.
So I feel what you just said even deeper now as I'm accepting
Mhm.
that. And in this meditation, even more, this is why I called Wendy in, because it's powerful for me to talk about it and hear a different perspective of things
Mm.
that I might not have seen.
Yeah.
Cool. So now I appear as wife and mother. And that wasn't unloving, but I did feel alone. It was certainly
Mhm.
another, I felt good, during the first few years of us being together because I felt this available man finally got me out of being with an unavailable man. I finally found someone who wanted me.
Mhm.
But I still felt so alone and wasn't connecting with my true self that I allowed another unavailable man to come in to my existence at that time, which caused
Mm.
me to leave my marriage. So I heard each thing that this guy in that time, that unavailable man, I heard each thing he was saying to me at that time. And each thing he was saying to me was keeping me attached to that feeling of being alone. So he kept
Mm.
that Velcro. I like to call it Velcro. He said all the right words to keep me feeling alone, but also didn't allow me to feel Donna.
Yeah.
No good, bad, right, or wrong. I send love. I have to send love to all of these people. But as an adult now, I recognize, wow, there's more to the story. As much as those people, all of these people are out of my life now. There's more. Always to the story. So when
Yeah.
someone says, "Oh, I've dealt with that," if it's coming up again, there's more to deal with. So I've always felt there was more to deal with, but I just didn't know when. There's an order. There's an order to everything. So again, here I am, that aloneness now. I'm by myself with my 3-year-old daughter. My ex-husband is wonderful. We have this great relationship. My daughter's getting along great. But I see all these souls again with me on the stage, hugging me, loving me, surrounding me. I'm feeling so much love. And then at that point, they take me away. I'm done. I feel like the movie has ended. The scene on the stage has ended. It's like a play, right? It wasn't a movie, it was a play.
Yeah.
And I came to the age that I am now, and the play ended. And my soul friends on the stage continue applauding, and the crowd in the audience erupts again because the play's over, and there's applause and there's cheering. Wendy, have you ever been in a big crowd like a stadium where everybody is cheered? Have you ever been in that environment?
Yeah.
It's powerful, is it not?
Yes.
And you get so caught up in just how beautiful and how vibrating energy that is.
Mhm.
I will
Mhm.
this applauding took me back. I went to a hockey game. My daughter, works for a hockey team. And I was on the ice. I was ice right after when they're playing their game, and I'm right there. And it was the end of a game, and she had me down by the plexiglass, and the theater, Madison Square Garden, was filled with people, and we were all into it. Right? You got to get this goal. This is the end of the game. And when that goal happened, and that crowd erupted, I was down. on the ice. I wasn't up in it. I was down on the ice. It felt like it was for me because it was so powerful. The excitement was just so riveting and so that's what it felt like in the theater with all of the I knew it was for me. It was for me.
Yeah.
So I instead of asking myself in that moment, do I accept this? I just did. And I stood up and I waved to everybody in the crowd. I just waved and said thank you. And I just waved to everybody. You know how producers do? They stand up and they're just doing this to everybody. I accepted all that applause. I just accepted it.
Yeah.
Row I was in
Yeah.
cleared again. So I walked to the aisle and was surrounded by all these people as I made my way back to the lobby. Cheers were loud. There were pats on the back. There were thank yous that rang from their voices. I smiled and agreed it was a fabulous play slash movie. I didn't feel crowded with that many people around me because I do not like that type of like get me out of this. I didn't feel that at all.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that at all. It felt so good. But I knew I needed to practice that feeling. That, what I've been
Mhm.
saying, I've been so alone to you, Wendy, lately. I needed to practice that feeling of letting the people crowd around me. I knew that was something I needed.
Yes.
So I go to the lobby and everybody's yelling and screaming. And I'm like, oh, I just got to get out in the street where there's no people. I got to get back out there. I walk out onto what I thought would be an empty street. And guess what?
What?
People, people, crowds of people to the left, to the right, the sidewalks, buildings were filled with people. They're hanging outside their window. They're all cheering and applauding. All eyes were on me. And I teared up sitting in my meditation spot. I teared up, but I didn't feel the need to cry. It wasn't overwhelming. I felt their support. I accepted the accolades. It was me. I created this life, and this life was teaching others as they viewed it in their soul bodies.
Wow.
So all of these people, not literally people, but you and I have been talking about the tsunami of souls that when we
Yes.
vibrate out there, they receive that vibration. So I feel like there's an apology here because I went so long vibrating out this feeling of I didn't acknowledge me. I didn't acknowledge those parts, other parts of me. But I feel now that I could. I accepted it. I created this life. And the movie now will continue long after I'm gone because people will feel the vibration long after I'm gone. And they'll see this movie and take with them the feeling of being supported. That the message there is always someone with you,
Wow.
vibrationally or physically. That was the end. The end. And remember, you and I have been talking about writing a movie together.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that still won't happen, but this was a part of that. You see it now.
Yes.
Go.
My gosh, that's so powerful.
Mm,
It's so powerful because it's also so multidimensional. It's like there's all of this work that you have transmuted that has vibrated out to so many different souls, and it's like whatever you or we, I should say, right? Like it is about you and me, but it's also about all the people who've been on this path for so many years and lifetimes. And it's just like so many it's the time for those movies to end and for there to be a new movie.
a new
That's
view.
how Yes. That's how I feel. Um But it's what I wanted to say about the title of the movie that I was hearing was just the never ending story.
Ah, it's a never ending story. It is. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. In this lifetime, in this one, you and I have talked about this, we're going further than we ever have in
Yeah.
human form. Our soul already knows all of it. And I feel
Mhm.
during all these years, as much as I feel I didn't stop myself from growing, there was clearly an underlying something. I always knew it. I didn't want to admit it that it was something I was doing because I know there's an order. So I knew
Yeah.
it would come out when it was meant to come out. But I'm sure there was still a part of me that was judging me, still feeling unworthy because I was, those little girls that were young girls. That was the adult me saying, you should have known better. You shouldn't have got
Mhm.
involved with that.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Wow.
I didn't. Because it all got me here where I can now say, you said this the other day. Have you loved those guys? I'm like, no,
Yeah.
there's some I'm still pissed at. But yeah, now I can say, thanks for doing, thanks for being that part of my growth. I don't want to feel
Yeah.
sad for them. I don't want to feel sad for me at that age, at those ages anymore. I don't want to feel that anymore.
That's so powerful.
it, it's so when I'm sitting in the meditation, there's Donna in bed because that's what a medium does. I can view myself in so many different dimensions, going, holy crap, this is really happening. Stay with it, Donna. Stay with it, Donna. Then there's the Donna in the theater that's going, it like totally absorbing everything, Donna in the theater. But Donna
Yeah.
in her bedroom hasn't absorbed it all yet. I feel the absorption is still kind of happening.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And it's that's kind of where I'm at right now in this conversation. Like there's just so much I'm absorbing from what you just said. And it's just like yeah, I'm at a loss for words, which rarely happens to me. And I want to say good job. Good job. Thank you. I feel like this past week I've just felt like a cheerleader. I've just felt I feel like my guides have been cheerleaders for me. Keep going, you're doing it, you know? And now, like when we talked before about spilling over, overflowing, that's what I feel now for people around me, everybody. I just want to cheer them on. I feel like the people in the theater.
Because we're giving it to ourselves too, in that if we're everybody, we're not just cheering
Yeah.
for everybody, we're cheering for ourselves as a collective. We need
Yes.
that. We need that. But we don't, what we need to recognize is it goes so much deeper than that when we cheer for ourselves. Even if
Yeah.
it's good for someone like me as I teach all of this. I feel it. I definitely feel it. But this I didn't expect. I didn't expect that there was something else. No judgment.
Yeah.
Me, I'm sure I felt it at some point, thought, oh, Donna, did you just figured that out? Like all these years, all that therapy, all those sessions, really? You're just understanding this piece of it.
What was it that made it click?
Well, that's why I wait for the meditation to make it click. That's what
Ah,
I need to do for myself.
okay.
I know there's something because you've been talking about it in your version. And for the last couple of weeks, I've been explaining here's my version. I know I feel all these synchronicities, but I don't know where they're leading me yet. I know there's
Yeah.
something more. And
Yeah.
that was the something more. Could there be more? Sure, there's always more. But
Right.
I feel that that culminated what you and I have been what I've been processing with you and what you've been processing with me. Because I know
Yeah.
we're off each other, but both of us are in a different phase of where
Yeah.
that journey is, but still have the
Yes.
ability to help each other. And if you could take that out into the world, everybody's in their different journey places, but we all have the
Yeah.
ability to love each other. We all have the
Exactly.
ability to love each other. Whether we want to speak to that person or be around that person or hear from that person or not, that doesn't matter. We all have the ability to say, my love is your love. My light is your. We all have that ability. Period.
Isn't
I don't
it
have to do anything else.
isn't it isn't it wild how easy it is to say that and how it's such a different thing to actually understand it
Yeah,
and know it?
yeah. That's the process. The process
Yeah.
is thinking about it. The process is practicing it, knowing it, integrating it, and then just
Yeah.
being, and then being it. Because all those
Yeah.
other phases are working. You got to practice. You got to do this. You got to do this. And most of those stages, we don't even understand what the next process is, what the next stage of that is.
Yeah.
We think it's the last stage all the time. We think there's got
Right.
to be, because I said after that meditation, that's when I texted you. Do you ever feel like you go into this really great meditation and life is just fabulous, and then you come out and make your juice and brush your teeth, and you're like, is that what life is? And you're like, yep, that's what life is. Bringing all of that into everything that you do, and I'm like, yep, that's what it
Yes.
is. But in that moment again, I just felt, well, now I got to brush my teeth. I just want that again. I just want that again. I want that again.
Well, that's so funny because in my life, I feel a part of my journey, the way I've always been, and I have to say, I grew up with the opposite energy you did. I had cheerleaders, and it makes me tear up a little bit because it's so beautiful. And my heart hurts for little Donna.
Mm, thank you.
But my dad would say, you can do anything you want to do. There was never you're a girl, this is what women do, this is the women's role. I didn't have that. I got lucky, you know? And I mean, for whatever reason, I set myself up that way. I chose my parents, right?
Yes.
So, I've just, on my journey, I just have always loved what I'm doing, no matter what it was. Like, people complain about their crappy job or whatever. And I'm just like, I just always would find joy in whatever it was. And I just feel I just feel really, really grateful, Donna. It just brings me to tears.
That's a good thing. That's a fine thing. I'm going to have to put a warning on this video. Have your tissues ready.
Yeah, but it's true. Like when you said I had to go brush my teeth, I was still like in this blissful state after this kind of like all these realizations that we've been having over the past week. And I was like, I woke up in the morning and I was like, I get to do my taxes. And I just cracked up laughing because when does anyone ever say that? But it's funny. It's like I guess you get a million chances to experience this place if you want to, but it's only going to be this way one time. So, this particular way, there may be the same lessons that come up over and over that you are like, dang, I want to go back and do that better. But what if you decide to just enjoy the ride? You know, I remember we had that conversation about how everyone's your teacher. And I really feel like the age of the guru is over. It's about finding the wisdom within and all around you. Because I had this memory where I'm very driven. I'm always like trying to accomplish the next thing, even in spirituality, right? I'm like, let's knock this out, like like you. I'm gonna get a win. I'm gonna win. Light always wins. And I had this memory of somebody, like a family friend. I said, I just don't want to go through life floating along, like not knowing what's actually going on, or like, diving deeper or whatever. I always had this judgment about the people who are not on the spiritual path or not looking beneath the surface of things. And what I realize is that's just my view, for one. And what was funny when I said that out loud, he was like, well, what's wrong with just floating along?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, and now listen to me. That's what I'm saying. I love it. I love the full circle moments where I'm like, no, what you're saying is not, it's no, that's not right. It's like taken me, I mean, I don't know how long it's taken me to learn
Okay.
this,
Yeah.
but it feels really good to learn it. And I got to keep practicing, like you said, and integrating it. And I'm actually just really looking forward to that because I feel so I just feel so grateful to have experienced this feeling of the oneness, like we talked about, and to just live my life with this sense of wonder and love and joy. And just even, I'm not expecting there to not be anything that goes wrong. I've already been to hell and back, I feel like, in my own life. And so I got through it and I saw you got through that. I think you could probably get through anything. So why not just enjoy the ride?
Yeah. 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 Enjoy it. Every moment, enjoy it. Because you've been hearing me say, there has to be something more. Look at all these things that are happening to me.
Yeah.
How could it not be?
Yeah.
These are like going on 25 years of these fabulous experiences with spirit. Me not even understanding it was spirit, but me remembering these moments. Wow. And I I don't want it to be just for me. I want, I hope, my prayer, whatever, that it does reach. Or is it just the part of me now reaching because of what I had to go through? Now it's just a good story. Some of those experiences are really good stories. Because
Yeah.
now we have social media and we could share those stories with so many other people
Yeah.
to know. Because when all these things happened to me, you couldn't Google. There wasn't Google. You couldn't,
Yeah.
jump on a computer and say, this just happened to me. I had a dream that told me what to do. And then I did it. And it happened the way my dream said. What is that? You didn't have those people because the therapists that you were seeing back then were just, analyzing your dream. This is what happened to me. They were analyzing the dream, but not coordinating it or connecting it with, here's your higher self, here's spirit telling you what to do. Because that would have been really simple. Like, great, thank you, bye.
Yeah.
Again, there's an order, but sometimes I want to rush that order. What do you think? I do.
Yeah. I don't feel that way, but before I did, yeah, I felt this attachment, and now in the past, I don't know how long, time just doesn't even like
Right.
make sense anymore these days. But once I really started to see a bigger picture, I can see that what I would like to see in the future is inevitable. And I just don't worry about it. I just am ready here to sit and watch the movie and see how it unfolds. And you know what's wild too is that many people are watching different movies. Like, but there is the people who are hopping on the oneness train. I don't know, tell me what you think about this. Do you think we're still watching different movies?
You and
Yeah.
I think they're different only because they're our movie.
Yeah.
There might be a they movie, like you and I together movie, but I think our movies, there's so many different theaters, like there's so many new earths,
Yeah.
that it's really our movie because now you can't mix human existence with our sole purpose. And when you do that, you're still just moving along together.
Yeah.
But you like my lessons aren't yours. However, my lessons may affect you and your responses affect me.
Mhm.
But I know that really nobody can make you do it. Nobody pushed me to do what I just did. I
Yeah.
had to accept the fact that, okay, Wendy's bringing up something in me that I need to figure out in me. I can't, that's where this, you can't blame someone or judge someone else for what they bring up in you because that's what you ask them to do in this
Yeah.
lifetime. So
Yep.
I laugh. I have to laugh when I do that. And I'm like, okay, what do I need then to learn from that?
Yeah.
That's why there's no good, bad, right, or wrong.
Yeah.
What you were showing me wasn't considered bad. It wasn't anything bad. It was just like, huh, I feel something now. I need to look at this. She might be
Yep.
right. She said something that I might be looking at that. So to view anything, stop using the words. Shit's going to come up, period, the end. And when we acknowledge that stuff and how we feel about that stuff, that's when we take personal responsibility for our movie, our play, our journey. It's just all metaphors for life. I, I, getting back to what you actually said, if we're everyone, if we're all in the oneness, then yeah, we're all in the same movie. Yeah, because we're all oneness. That's a tough place to hang out in all the time. I'm still working on that. I'm going to do another video on that.
Yeah.
How to be in it, not be in it, but be it.
Be in
Be,
it, but not of it, right?
be it.
Be it.
Be the oneness, not
Right.
be in the
Right.
oneness, be the oneness.
Yeah.
That's not an easy thing to hold on to in each moment. So I have to keep viewing it in my head. That's where meditation and visualization is really important
Yeah.
because it doesn't just start in the outside, it starts here. That's what the inner world is. When you view it inside yourself, when you view the image, when you view the scene, that's what helps you recognize you're looking at it
Yeah.
and you're also in it.
Yeah.
And you're also the person on the outside interpreting for both. So many different angles. Like a camera, ooh,
Mhm.
in a movie would have so many different angles.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and for me, it's interesting you say that too, because I started out with a lot of meditation and that's not working for me these days. It's just my meditation is like, and this may be true for you too, is walking in the woods, like it's a walking meditation. I actually am trying to make my life my meditation.
Exactly. Meditation is the definition of meditation is an awareness of one thing. Once you
Mm,
understand that, you're meditating 24/7.
yeah.
Brushing
Oh,
your
I
teeth,
love that. I
cooking your
didn't know
dinner.
that. I love
Right? That's why people say I can't meditate. And I said, you haven't taken my classes yet. You
that.
haven't understood what the actual definition of. And I was right where you were for a long time. I didn't meditate. When I
Yeah.
first started seeing spirit, as soon as I closed my eyes to meditate, something happened. So I never had to sit long. I love that because I didn't want to sit half an hour. So I would tell
Yes.
people, don't sit for half an hour, just sit for 5 minutes, three
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
Just make the time to sit.
Yeah.
Now if unless I go into a guided meditation, I'm just spending that time in silence breathing.
Yeah.
But you're right. The meditation could be 24/7.
Mm.
Exactly. Exactly. So it is for anybody. But are you willing? Are you
Yeah.
able to walk into every one of your moments being aware of one thing?
Yeah.
One thing, the oneness. I look forward to putting this movie out of my life. No
Yeah, you
charge.
shared a
This
lot.
movie will be free. It was free to make. If you consider everything I went through free, it was free to make for all you people. It's free to enjoy.
You know what I love about this too is that I've noticed that once you get in the state of your movie, you really do start directing and producing intentionally,
Yes.
and you get so creative. There's so much creativity to share. And that's what really brings me joy. I feel like that's coming back into the conscious director, the COO of your movie.
Consciousness of oneness. Yes. Yes. Yes.
It's like that's what when you can really start flowing and living in joy, like we were talking about.
And the synchronicities happen more, the instant manifestations happen more because you're in it. You're of it and in it because you're a
Mm,
physical being. And this morning, the word I pulled from the Spirit Dictionary for my word of the day, I started talking. I normally don't do that. I just pull the word, but I started talking about what's been happening and how maybe now this is a time to rest. But I feel so much has happened over this last couple of weeks. What should I do now? I feel the only thing I can do is rest. And the word that I pulled was graduate. It was about levels. And I'm like, that's it. We just graduated up a level. What do
yeah.
you do after graduation? Typically, you just rest, right? No more classes, no more learning, just rest. Just
But
rest.
first you have a party.
Have a party.
Don't forget to celebrate.
Celebrate. Celebrate. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And that's when an instant manifestation happens. That's happened more than once when I ask for a sign or ask for a word. I wasn't
Yeah.
even asking that time. I was just letting spirit hear me.
Yeah.
And again, I am spirit. I am what I'm doing. It's me talking to me. It's
Yeah.
me letting me know this is the word you need right now, Donna. This
Mm.
is the word everybody needs right now. so, so, our YouTube viewers, I want to thank you. I just reached 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. It took years. Never thought it would ever happen. they said, oh,
Nice.
they said 500 was big, and when I hit 500, I'm like, okay, I'm never going to go past 500. Then 1,000, and then 1,500, and now 2,000. I'm like, boy, it just takes forever. There's an order to everything. So I thank you to all my subscribers. I hope you watch all the rest of the stuff that's been going on and check out Wendy's channels on her social media. Light always wins. As an ending right now, Wendy, what do you got? Final words of enlightenment for all of us.
Thank you for being you.
Mm, all of you. Thank you for showing up in our play, in our movie, to be not only the audience, but the director, the writer, the producer. My dad always loved to say in the world of spirit, he said life is like a baseball game because we're all sports people. Grew up in that. That every person on the field is you, the stands, you, the coaches, you, the umpire, you. Cheer yourselves on even more. Wendy and I
Woo!
on our graduations.
Oh my gosh. Home run.
Home run. Thanks, Moose. That's my dad. So if you're watching this and you'd like to comment on Wendy's going to share it on hers too. Any comments? We'd love to answer them. We'll be right there with you. If you want to share it, like it, subscribe, we appreciate that too. Wendy, so appreciative of you.
Yeah, you too, Donna.
All right, so you take care of yourself the rest of the day today.
You too.
I will stop this recording.